Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today I'm hoping to film a relatively short video, but basically I want to talk you through the 20 books that I want to most prioritize reading in 2023. Now I want to clarify, these are not new releases. I could do a video on that, but I don't know where to find the information on what releases are coming out. Like, I assume there's too many books for them to come out in one central place. Watch a lot of booktubers talk about the releases they're most interested in 2023, but then I'm basically just telling you that I'm waiting for like Alice Oseman, Ali Hazelwood, Emily Henry. I don't know how interesting that is. So for now, not gonna film that because I'm not really sure where to find that information. But I did think it would be useful. I have a very big physical TBR, which I've collected solely over the course of 2022, which is kind of embarrassing with how many books are on there. And what I wanted to do was talk you through the books that I most want to get through in 2023 from my physical TBR. In 2022, I read, well, at time of filming, I've read 54 books. I would love it if we made it to 60 by the end of the year, but that's probably optimistic. I don't know, it's like middle of December, so we'll see. But around 55 books is probably what I will have achieved. And these are 20 of the books on my physical TBR that I would most like to get to. Even if I managed to only get to 50 books next year, this would be nearly half of that. But these are the books that I think I really should be prioritizing. Now, I am a mood reader, and so I will just pick up what I'm interested in at the time, but I thought if I filmed this video, it would kind of remind me when I'm mood reading that, hey, remember these books that you said that you most needed to get to kind of prompt me to maybe be in the mood to pick these up more than the other ones that are on my shelves. So let me talk you through the books. That pile is so precarious. So we're going to start with middle grades. I do own a fair number of middle grades. My middle grade and YA books do take up like a whole shelf on my bookshelves. And I've never read a middle grade in my adult life. So I feel like I am in my YA era, but I haven't quite got to middle grade, but I would be really keen to get to some middle grade. And so I thought I would pick two off my shelves that I would most like to get to. The first one is Skanda and the Unicorn Thief. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition, which is a really lovely signed, I'm pretty sure it's signed, yeah, signed sprayed edge edition. And this was kind of muted as being like Harry Potter for the modern era. And so, you know, if this is going to be that big a book, I need to make sure I'm reading it. And to be honest, it does sound really interesting. Basically, it's about Skanda Smith, who wants to be a unicorn rider, but it's very rare to become one. But, you know, Skanda's dream is about to come true. So I think this is going to be a really good one. I haven't actually seen many people talk about this. If anyone, I don't think I've seen anyone talk about this. But I know that Gavin was kind of saying he wanted to read it. That's Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. So I would really like to prioritize this because I think it's going to be one of those big books that should be read. Next up, we have Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is a very popular middle grade series with many of the booktubers that I watch. And I went to like painstaking efforts to get the hardback version because it's so pretty. I bought it secondhand. So I would really like to read this because I think I will love it. Samantha Plans and Reads, who is a like planning book YouTuber that I follow, she's just been reading this and absolutely loved it. And I really think I would love this. It's a fantasy middle grade. There's quite a few books in the series, but obviously being a middle grade, I would get through it relatively quickly. I just think this one would be really fun and it's beautiful. And I went to like a lot of efforts to get it. And so it would be really good if I could prioritize reading it. So yeah, that is the other middle grade that I'm most keen on. I do have other middle grades I would love to read. Like Pages & Co, Anna James, Frost Heart. There's like quite a few I want to read, but these are the two that I think if I was only going to read two in the whole year, they're the two that I would most want to pick up. So a genre that I've fallen in love with in 2022 is cozy mysteries, and I've read a fair few. So I listened to the Agatha Raisin series on audiobook, and I read the Deadly End, the two books that are out in that series by Victoria Walters, but the kind of OG, or at least, well, that's ridiculous because Agatha Raisin's series must be the OG, but the series that is most famous for being a cozy mystery is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. And I would really like to get to this because there's 3 out now. The 4th one's going to come out in 2023 and I'm very much falling behind. I see so many people talking about them on BookTube, and I think we're at a point where I'm probably embedded enough in the cozy mystery genre that I would enjoy this. So I would really like to get to this because frankly I feel like I'm just out of the loop of the conversation. So yeah, this is the cozy murder mystery that I most want to prioritize next year. So if you've been around here a while, you'll know that romance is my favourite genre to read. I like that they're quick. I love the fuzzy feelings of romances. They're just my favourite. So a lot of these books are romances that I want to prioritise, which would be great because, you know, in theory I can get through one in like half a week. So that if I read more of them, would get through my TBR quicker. So I've split my romances into two sections. I have one section which are books I need to read because I'm halfway through the series. And then I have books where they're just like other books I want to read for other reasons. So the first one is You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. So the reason I want to read this is because I've read the other two Emily Henry books, so Beach Read and Book Lovers. And I mean, Beach Read was like one of my best books of the year. I absolutely loved it. I did really enjoy Book Lovers, just not as much quite as everybody else. I think Book Lovers just won the Goodreads Romance Book of the Year, but Beach Read was just for me. And I'm in the middle of a vlog where I am reading all three of the Emily Henry books in that one vlog. So it's kind of embarrassing now because I started that vlog in August, and so when I finish it, it's going to be several months later and it's going to just be really bizarre, but I will finish it because that content is like edited, so it would be an absolute waste of a video if I didn't. I would love it if I could get to this before 2023, to be honest. I would love it if, you know, you watch this video in 2023 and I've already read it. That really would be my ideal, because then that video would have been posted and it would be great for Vlogmas content if I could get that vlog up. But there's too many other things happening right now, so I'm not sure if I'll get to this. It's not a Christmassy read. It's very much not a Christmassy read, so it feels a bit odd to read it at this time of year. So I'm still debating whether I'll get that video up for Vlogmas, but yeah, ideally, I would have already read this. Next up, we have The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. So this is the second book in the Kiss Quotient series. Is that what the series is called? I don't know, but the first book is the Kiss Quotient. I gave that 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite, but I do already own this one and The Bride Test. This is the third one. This is the third one. Okay, well, imagine I'm holding up The Bride Test. It's somewhere over there, but The Bride Test is the second one. So I haven't read that. You didn't miss it. But anyway, this series, I own this one and I own The Bride Test, and I would like to finish the series. I'm not sure I'm going to love them any more than I love the others. It also feels a bit weird to even put these in the romance section because from what I've heard, the second and third one, particularly the third one, are very difficult reads and people have cried a lot. But then I think that's really similar to Emily Henry, and I do think they are romance books, but they're maybe more contemporary fiction than romances, so I apologise if you would count them as contemporary fiction. But anyway, they're romances on my shelves. But yes, I would kind of like to get through these because I'm not convinced I'm going to love them, and that's fine. I will just unhaul them, but it would be better to not be in the middle of the series. So yeah, I would really like to get to these. Then the last up in this list is a little bit of a spoiler for you because I think this video, I mean, I'm pretty sure this video, I mean, I'm in a Christmas jumper. I can't not post this video in the next few days. This video is going to come up before my December wrap up. But the other book I want to read to finish this series is Husband Material by Alex Hall, because I just read Boyfriend Material. It's what I was reading going from the end of November into the beginning of December. So it will be in my December wrap up. I won't spoil what I thought of it, because you need to go watch that video, but I would really like to get to this. So I've been trying to get better about hauling books, but I did, as soon as I finished Boyfriend Material, I did buy this one. Though my copy, I don't know how well you're going to be able to tell. I don't think you can. Maybe. Look, it's so dirty and I don't know why. Does anyone know how you can clean books like this? Because it's like a sort of matte material and I'm worried about ruining it if I put like a baby wipe on it. But yeah, I really can't stand that it's already dirty, so I probably will do that and just hope I don't ruin it. I will talk more about the Boyfriend Material in my December wrap up, but I would be very, very, very keen to finish this series out. I'm also really keen to read more by Alex Hall. I nearly picked up the Paris Delacour something book, but that's the second in the baking series, so I need to read the first one, and they didn't have the first one in Waterstone, so I didn't get it. But I'm very keen to read more by Alex Hall. I'm spoiling my own December wrap-up video. You can probably get an idea of what I thought of the first one. Just realised I missed a book in that pile, but I would also like to read Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring-Blake. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care back in August time, and I gave it like 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it. They're very well written. It's just, I wasn't sure that I would reread it, and it wasn't my favourite book ever, but I did enjoy it. And I would be really keen to read the second one of this because I am very interested to see what happens in this particular part of the story. I won't spoil anything in case you haven't read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, but Astrid is Delilah's stepsister, and some stuff happens with Astrid in the first book. I wouldn't read this without having read the first book, but there's some stuff that happens which is going to kind of lead into this, and I'm fascinated to see how we get from there to here. I think this is going to be so interesting, so I'm very glad I've got my hands on this. At the moment, Delilah Green Doesn't Care is in my unhaul pile, but I'm probably going to bring it out of my unhaul pile and keep it, because if I love this one, I might want to reread this series as a whole, so I'm probably not going to unhaul that one, even though currently it's in my unhaul pile. Also, these covers are drawn by Leni Kaufman, who is by far my favourite romance, and I've got another book in here that's drawn by her romance book cover artist. She's so talented, and it's really hard to think of unhauling a book with her art on it because I love it so much. So yeah, that is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. Okay, so the other form of romances I want to read are for slightly other reasons. So first up, we have The Impossible Princess by Kira Dominguez. I want to read this one because the cover is drawn by Leni Kaufman. It is just absolutely beautiful, and this one really gives me Hallmark movie vibes, particularly The Christmas Prince. That's what I'm getting from this, or like Princess Diaries sort of vibes, anything along those lines, and I absolutely love books like that, so I really hope I will love this one, and this cover is just probably my favorite book cover that I currently have. Then we have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I know that a lot of people don't like this. It's very chunky. I think it's like 400 pages, which for a romance is excessive. But the reason I want to read this is because everyone else has read this, and I feel like I'm just like kind of cheating right now that I'm on BookTube and I talk mostly about romance books and haven't read The Spanish Love Deception. And I would just love to see how I fall. You know, am I going to love it? Am I going to hate it? Am I going to be indifferent? I'm indifferent more often than not. And so I'm interested to see how opinionated I'm going to be on this. So yeah, I would just be really interested to read this. It is enemies to lovers, not my favorite trope. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm very interested to see what I think, and because also the second one is out, and so it gives me another book to read if I read the second one. While I remember, another book that I would be interested in reading but I don't own it yet is the 3 novellas by Ali Hazelwood. I'm waiting to get the physical version, which releases on the 1st of January, so there's also that one as well. But next up we have The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. The reason I want to read this is because it's just been released on Netflix as either a TV show or a film. I'm not 100% sure, and I assume I should read the book before watching the show because I feel like it's going to kind of change my view of it if I watch the show before reading the book. Though that is how I read Twilight. I watched the film first, and then it just helped me imagine the characters a bit more. So maybe it would be fine. Maybe I would be less annoyed if I did it that way around. But I assume that really I should read the book first. So that's why it's on this list. And then we have the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. And I just think I will really love these. There's 3 of them. I own all 3 in the trilogy. And when I read the blurbs of these, I just think they're really my kind of book. I know that Talia Hibbert is a really, really popular writer with the community here on BookTube, and she has a YA coming out this year. And as I say, I'm in my YA era. I don't know why that's happening to me at 30, but I am in my YA era. And so I would be really keen to read that one as well. And so I just think I would really like to get to these. I think I will love them, and it's kind of unnecessary that I haven't got to them yet. So those are the romances. I mean, I have many. These shelves are all romances, so there's loads I could read, but they're the ones I most want to prioritize in 2023. Okay, next up we have fantasy series that I'm in the middle of, or books that I'm in the middle of that I need to prioritize finishing. So I don't really know that this is in theory Greek mythology, but I'm going to count it as fantasy because I don't have any other Greek mythology books. But first up we have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I am 15% into this book and have been for over half of 2022. And I really would have liked to have finished it before 2023, but honestly, I don't think I will get to it. And it's really embarrassing to say that because I really would like to not be reading this book anymore. But I have so many festive reads that I need to get through and videos that I need to film. I don't see how I'm going to fit Ariadne in as well because I'm not reading it for a vlog. For example, if I wanted to finish off some content I already have, I need to read You and Me on Vacation and not Ariadne because I'm not in the middle of a vlog for Ariadne. It's just a thing. It's just a thing on my Goodreads that's there. So it's not really affecting anyone other than me. So yeah, but I would just like to finish this. Honestly, I didn't mean to DNF it. It was the book I was taking on my commute, but for whatever reason, I swapped it out for something else. And that was like 8 months ago. I really wasn't loving the first 15% of this. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the writing style or something like that. I think I remember enough of it that I could pick it up, so that's something. But yeah, I'm just not very far into it. Where's my bookmark? My bookmark is a train travel ticket, which is from January. Have I been reading this since the end of January? Surely not. Hopefully that's an old ticket. But anyway, it really has been the majority of 2022. But I do think I remember enough of it that I don't need to go back. I think I just need to like carry on and plow through. But yes, I love the cover of this. This was absolutely a cover buy, but people love it, you know? It's very popular on BookTube. I'm like being quite controversial in not liking it, so I would like to get to it. Next up, we have the fantasy book I am most excited to read, and that is Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. I took most of 2022 to read Jade War, which is the second book in this trilogy, but that was not because I wasn't loving it. It's, as I said in a previous video, it's because I just can't imagine my life without this book in it, like reading this book, and I think that's what's putting me off finishing it. But I don't want to start any other fantasy series until I finish the Greenbone saga. So I really need to get through this because I will then be able to get through other fantasy books on my TBR. And ideally, I would like to start reading Brandon Sanderson because my fiance is really into Brandon Sanderson. And so it would just be really nice if I could read the books. I want to read the Mistborn series first to have like a thing to talk to him about when it comes to books. So that does mean I need to get through Jade Legacy, but look at the size of it. I've never read a book this big. I don't think, anyway. It is, how many pages? 716. I don't think I've read a book this big. I know a lot of people have read bigger, but I don't particularly read big books. And so given that Jade War took me so much of the year, I'm worried this will equally take me a lot of the year. So we'll see, but I really would and I very much intend to read this one. Like, I have this book in the my icon on my channel currently because I know I will love it. It's just, I need to actually read it. And then the last fantasy book where it's a series that I'm like in the middle of and need to get through it is Blood and Honey by Shelby Maurin. I don't know how you say her name, I'm really sorry. This one is, to be honest, not one I think I will prioritize. Like, if I think there's any of these books I won't read in 2023, it is this one. I read Serpent and Dove back in March and it was fine, but I've read a lot of books since then that I enjoyed way more than Serpent and Dove, and I think, to be honest, I gave it a very generous 3 stars looking back. But you know, it was fine, it was a good time, but the end was like, this is more like a fantasy romance, not just a fantasy, but the end like completely flipped and there's so much story, and I thought, oh, I would like to see where it goes from here, even if I wasn't like obsessed with the writing style of Serpent and Dove. And I also feel like if I got through this trilogy, I don't own God of Monsters, I think that's what the third one is called, but you know, we need to like make some headway. But this book is very chunky also. But then I could maybe read ACOTAR because I haven't read ACOTAR. It's like, it's there. And I would probably like ACOTAR, but I don't feel like I can really start it. Though I wouldn't hold myself to that. Like, I need to not force myself to read books if I don't want to. And so if I'm really in the mood for ACOTAR, I will just read it. I won't necessarily feel like I need to get through this, but I just thought I would include it here because it is a book where I'm in the middle of the series and it would be great to not be in the middle of a series. So now we have some fantasy books where they're just ones I would really like to read, and one of them is the first book in a series, but I haven't started the series. Anyway, so first up we have Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is the book that everyone is talking about, and I wanted to read it back in November and I didn't, and so it would be great if I could read it because everyone is talking about it, and by the time I talk about it, no one's going to be talking about it anymore, so it would be really good if I could read it. I don't know whether I should buy a version to read instead of this, but like, I'm not really that sort of person. Like, normally I wouldn't mind reading a fancy edition book, but then I can't commute with this, so I would have to like sit down and read it in one day, and I don't know whether that's achievable. But this is the most beautiful book. I mean, it's so stunning. This is the Fairy Loot edition. So yeah, I don't know whether I need to find a version I could read or whether I should like listen to it on audio or something like that, but ideally I would like to read it before I'm no longer relevant. The other fantasy book here, and this is a YA fantasy, is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. Again, these two are the prettiest books I own. And the reason that I would like to get to this is because I am getting the second one from Very Loot. And so I could read this and then read the second one. And that would be really good. And that would be another series that's kind of done. I think this one is a duology, but I might be wrong. But yeah, I went to like painstaking effort to get this. I paid like over the odds to buy it from somebody. And so it would just probably be good if I actually read it. But again, same problem. I couldn't take this on my commute, so I might have to buy a version of this that I can actually read. Last up, we have some graphic novels and mangas that I would like to prioritize. I have no idea how to say that word as an English person anymore. So first up, we have Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. Everyone's talking about this. It's deemed as kind of being a very like cozy manga, and I'm sure I will love it. I own 1, 2, and 3, so there's kind of no excuse that I shouldn't get through this one. Then the other one that I'm not already in the series of is Sad Ghost Club by Liz Meddings, and I think the third one is coming out soon. I own the first two, and I really think I would benefit from reading this. My anxiety and mental health is some of the worst it's ever been right now, and so I do actually think I would really benefit from reading this. I meant to read it in October and didn't. It would take me an hour to read. There's like no excuse as to why I haven't read it, so I would really like to prioritize reading that. And then we have 2 graphic novels where I'm in the middle of the series and really just need to carry on because graphic novels are not too hard to read. So first up, we have volume 4 of Fence. And this is by C.S. Pascat, Joanna the Mad, and Joanna Lafuente, but C.S. Pascat is who will come up under Goodreads. I love Fence. I would say if you love Heartstopper, you will probably also love Fence. You don't have to know anything about fencing, though it's fascinating to learn about fencing, but it is a queer kind of romance school setting, so it gives those Heartstopper vibes. And there's like no reason I haven't read this. I loved the first 3, particularly 1 and 2. There's no reason why I haven't carried this on, and they do very much run one into another, and so I will have to refresh myself of what happened in the last one, and I need to buy volume 5 because I don't own it yet. They do also have some novels for these, but I'm very confused as to where I read the novels in terms of finishing the series. I think I can probably just read them. I need to like not get hung up on that. And then the last book is Lore Olympus. This is volume 2, but I also own volume 3 by Rachel Smythe, and I really loved volume 1. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was really enjoyable. It takes me a little bit longer than it probably takes other people to read Lore Olympus because there's like so much to look at. I just love reading graphic novels because I love appreciating the art, and there's just no reason why I haven't continued this because I really like it. And so it would be really good if I could finish this series. And that is kind of, you know, that's I think a lot of the theme of this video is like I have a lot of series that I'm in the middle of, though nowhere near as many as some people, which is why I didn't make it a standalone video. But you know, I would really like to prioritize getting through some of these. And then there's some other standalones here that I think I will enjoy as well. Okay, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to comment down below to recommend which of these books you think I should start with in my 2023 reading, but also what books are you prioritizing reading for 2023? I would love to know. Feel free to convince me that I should add it to my TBR. Why not? I have only like 400 books on there. Add some more, it's no problem. But yeah, I would really love to hear what you're planning to prioritize in 2023. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would join the small community we have here. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribes on this channel. It's growing very slowly but steadily, and I really appreciate your support. I will also have a link down below to my Goodreads as well as my Instagram, which is peace.love.plan, which is also shared with my planning channel, because I do planning stuff in the rest of my spare time, and so I will have a link to my planning YouTube down there as well. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.